lot of damage. They could potentially burst him down immediately after the hook, so I don't mind it. Bard also can be denied a lot by the Blitzcrank. It's really annoying to play against Blitzcrank if he gets a hook down or he gets in range of you, of course. And we saw the hover from the side of KT onto the Jace, but they didn't actually pick it up, and that's going to leave it available for Doran to pick it up straight into Sohan. So there you go. That's the draft. It's me and you guys out there on the internet. I am alone now. The Valdez solo cast begins, and I've been training this season. I've been in the hyperbolic time chamber, improving my analysis for this one moment to be real. And Bard and even Pillars from Trundle are going to offer. So here we are, back on the Rift. I did get a update, by the way, guys, that the game number 1 First Blood was the slowest First Blood of the summer split. It was something like 18 minutes, 31 seconds. And I hope that this game is not like that one. That would make my job a lot harder. Got to fill up the air with stuff to talk about. Let's take a look here at the runes that we have going on. Trying to see if there's anything out of place, out of the ordinary. If anyone's taking Scorch, no sinners in this game, no Scorchers. We're not scorching the earth here. I feel like I'm seeing more Unsealed Spellbook. It's like coming back slowly but surely. A lot of these lanes that kind of, you know, they don't have an obvious pick. They're leaning more towards the Unsealed Spellbook. And we've had people come in and pull off some insane plays with the Spellbook. I mean, I forget exactly who it was, but a support got in to a pit and stole like a dragon soul or something like that, like an elder dragon with his own smite. That was in recent times. Might have been Tucson, actually, now that I think about it. Speaking of which, we do have Tucson here. He does have the 1 game win on the Blitzcrank, so I was talking about how Blitzcrank is slowly coming back into the meta. And so he was one of the people that did pick up the win for himself. Jovi still undefeated on the Azir, and I'm actually surprised that this is Doran's first pick of Jace. I mean, Jace used to be, of course, very popular. It was a huge pick, as Tucson is, he's just trolling a little bit. He's like standing behind the minions by himself, and then he misses an Ezreal with a hook, which is always, you can just arcane shift out of that one. And the Blitzcrank pick was interesting into the lane, of course. He already knew that Ezreal was going to be on the other side. But it's not really going to be a pick for the lane. It's going to be in the later stages of the game what he's going to be able to do with his pickoffs on a bunch of the members. It's kind of just spamming that hook on cooldown almost, it feels like. Jace, of course, going to have priority up on the top side. He's going to be able to do his thing, potentially get some plates down, especially early on. So on those, he's doing a pretty good job of CSing, especially under turret. You can see it's 23 to 22. As I was listening to the Greencasters, they let out a big ooh and ah about the tether not connecting. Perhaps in this moment, now that I am the lone soul on the desk, take a look here at some of the stats. Aiming 2-1 on the affiliates. I guess it's 2-2 after that loss, actually, in game number 2. And there's not much going on here. This is generally when me and the co-caster. Okay, we do have a gank, though, coming on in. They're trying to get on top of aiming. There is going to be the stun, but there's not really anything to happen as the flash from Tucson comes in, and he's just gonna give away first blood. He's trying to feed aiming, of course, but that was extremely. Now we're talking like 95-5, maybe it's even worse. As even Carry is trying to pull off the insanely risky plays. And really just trying to soften up aiming for the follow-up gank that's coming down here. The red smite already going to go down, and that is about the easiest kill you've ever seen. Pyosik just going to stand still for a little bit. Olaf, he's going to cry. He's going to wipe his eyes with those axes, where he's going to do absolutely nothing except pick up all of this farm. As we zoom in there, Bono's actually going to take it, I suppose. And there you go. I'm not really sure what KT were thinking. I feel like they easily could have survived the gank. And Olaf was coming down, too. I mean, it's not like they were desperately, you know, they had to pick him off. Otherwise, they were going to get dove 3v2, and then that was going to be the end of it, and they were both going to die anyway. But Tucson goes for, like, the 98.2% play, where if you pull it off, you look like a god. But if you fail it, you look kind of like he did after that play, which is not very good. We're going to take another look. Pyosik goes for not the full clear, so they were not really expecting him here. He comes down a little bit early, and then this flash is like, I mean, they even exhaust Tucson, who, again, he has a bit of the burst damage, I suppose, on the hook and the combo, and so they want to take away some of that, but it's not like they even exhausted aiming or anything like that. And then after that, there's no support. The easiest follow-up you've ever seen. They're just easily able to take him down. They even give over plates. It's a pretty massive lead now for DRX, extremely early on in the game. Really no problem for him. You can see that Deft even went back and picked up a cull. It's like, well, I mean, this lane's over. That's about all that's about all he has to say about this one. Deft, he knows how to snowball really well. He's been at this for quite a while. And so now that your initial play failed as the Blitzcrank Aphelios lane, the Blitzcrank is going to have even less value in the lane. We talked about how it was picked into Ezreal, and so for it's, you know, it's not really a pick for the lane, it's a pick for later on in the game. And I think what the Observer is trying to highlight here is that there's no wards far down, so there's no chance that like a teleport play or anything like that happening either. So I'm actually going to switch over to heal for now. Wants to have it just in case anything happens up in the top lane. And with this little advantage, we're going to even be able to start zoning, aiming out down there. This looks like Athenes will be coming out first here, I believe, for the Karma. So he's going to be kind of like a second support. You know, the Blitzcrank is like the aggressive support, and then the Karma is like the defensive one, where you're going to be doing all the shielding, all of the buffing up of your AD carry, and that's really all she's going to be able to do. I mean, she gets all of that solo lane experience and all of the solo farm at the same time, so she's actually going to be able to scale up quite nicely. Aiming's dead. I don't really... I think they should have backed off a bit sooner than this. They didn't even need like a trundle or anything like that. And so the 2-on-2 probably would have gone the way of Carry and Deft anyway. As you can see, KT, they're desperate. They're trying to get something now on the map. They know that their bottom lane is pretty... It's pretty foobar right now, let's say. There's really nothing helping them. They're losing so many minions, so much XP. Tons of gold is going to the pockets of Deft's Ezreal. If you guys have ever seen this guy play, if you've never seen that happen, you're in for a treat. He's a Ezreal, especially when he's fed. He's an Ezreal god. This guy is he's gonna pop off in insane ways. And yeah, I mean, a little win up here on the top side. You can see that it's going to be traded gold between Bono and so on. But it's not like we're crashing turrets, right? Jace is always going to be having the advantage in the lane. He's going to be pushing. He's going to get ahead on CS anyway. So it's not like you're threatening a first blood turret or anything like that unless your entire team is going to rotate up top lane. And so it's not really going to be that big of a hit towards the side of DRX. Mid lane here, you can see that Kuro. We really haven't been taking a look much at the mid lane because, again, it's Karma versus Azir. That might be even more boring than the Karma versus, or not the Karma, the Corki versus the Azir. At least that one has a little bit, you know, some missiles being thrown out. This one has some magical bolts, I suppose, that are thrown at the minions instead of the enemy champion. And so, even so, Chovy is able to slowly get a lead in that one. So that's really just what's going well. And you can see here, I mean, Keria, really nice play. He uses the wall there, and the turret goes down. And Tucson just abandons him. Like, I think even without Pyosik and Chovy here, I think he's just dead. There's really not much that a Blitzcrank can do except try to hook the Bard out of the way, because you can't hook the Ezreal, right? He's going to be fine. Maybe you hook the Bard down the lane, but then the Aphelios dies anyway. I don't think he's going to have enough burst damage to fight back. So we're really in the dumps here. Down at the bottom of the gold charts are Aiming and Tucson. Super far behind, they have no priority. And they're going to have to give away this Ocean Drake at the same time to DRX. Bono and Tucson making their way over, but it's not really going to amount to anything. It feels kind of like game 2, but it's like the worst version where you don't have a bot lane at the same time for the losing team. And so it's just going to be feeling really bad. There's 0 lockdown for the Karma in this lane. The only amount of poke that she's ever going to get down are those Mantra Qs, but you kind of want to use your Qs to clear the wave up against Azir's pretty good wave clear. You can see he's much better than the Karma, as that was... Just have a moment of silence for those soldiers who just did nothing. Yeah, don't know about that one. I guess he was worried about a gank. Someone gonna miss the cannon. And now this is what I was talking about committing to the top lane. This is one way you can try to zone the Jace away, maybe get a kill, and then get the turret. But Yoshik right here, right on time. Ragnarok is gonna come out just in case that Chovy's nearby, but here's Chovy. We could see a pretty massive play, although he doesn't actually have his ultimate, remember. So, actually scratch that. We're not gonna have a massive play. We're not gonna have anything. We're just gonna have TP coming back in as, okay, Keria, okay. Not sure what he's doing there. He's gonna lock down the turret at least, but Jace is still gonna die. I feel like Keria's really feeling it now. He's really feeling it. That was like the Bard play to end all Bard plays. You can see that a heal is going to be thrown out. Now Chovy is thinking about taking this one as he takes a turret shot. Okay. And now this is actually a really nice turnaround for KT all of a sudden. I mean, DRX do not have to do the things they're doing. I have to restate that, you know? They do not have to be sending their Bard into 3 members and flashing and forcing his team into a really awkward spot. And then Chovy doesn't need to be taking these weird trades when he should know that Solan has TP. And that's going to be the kind of embarrassing end to that fight for DRX, who originally came out ahead. But now you're able to get your champions out there on the map sooner. Look at Chovy's positioning. He's not able to get on the map at all. Because of that, he can't help. Doran is okay. Nice little play from him, but the shield is going to keep him alive for quite a while. So that will allow KT to trade it back. And who's going to pick off this first blood turret? It's going to be 2v2. I'll say top lane. And I was right. Bottom lane, it looks like... There you go. Finally going to take that one out. And so, for you guys who are just joining, I feel like I should give a little bit of an update. LS was not feeling very well. He has become a lost soldier here in the fight of the casting. And so, we'll see. I'll be solo casting for the meantime. Pyosik is going to get hooked, but he does not have Subjugate, and now, again, they're very deep in here. The Olaf not going to be able to do much by himself, though. He has to wait, and Pyoshik, in fact, very fast. The flash in from aiming to try to root Chovy. Again, these are kind of like solo queue-esque plays, right? Like, if you're trying to limit test, if you're trying to look cool in solo queue, that's a play that you might make. But from personal experience, I feel like going for the... Oh, he's actually going to catch him here. This might be a dead blitz as the flash on in. He's trying to make the most of it and trying to feed aiming. As the ultimate's going to come in, he finally gets a kill. But Chovy is going to put an end to that madness. As now flashing away is Chovy, the Olaf getting a lot of value here. Pyoshik coming on in, Keria running away up on the top side. As finally the Olaf dies, and the stun comes in from Bard, as Kuro's also going to go down. But now So1 in the midst of so many weak members of DRX. He's going to be able to take out the Jace, but these Bard stuns are insane. I think you guys know who my vote is for the MVP. And it's not just for that play up in the top side where he flashed into 3 members. It's Brad the Chad. Let me go ahead and write that one down already. As breaking down the analysis, again, Chovy wasn't around because he had just died, and so they were looking to make the play. It gets traded 1-for-1 because Doran finds the opportunity. And Keria is just so active on the Bard. It's pretty insane. He misses the stun that time around. The Blitzcrank flashes. And so had he gotten the stun, it would have worked out much better for the side of DRX. And I also want you to look at how much value this Olaf gets. The shield comes in, but then it all ends up being a bait kind of for So1. As Keria gets the 1 stun, he gets the heal off, and then he gets another stun. And Bard doesn't have a very high win rate, by the way, in LCK right now. He's like 9-21, or 9 out of 21 games, I think it is. But Keria knows how to make them work. And this is how you make the Brad dream work, guys. This is how you do it. Go for aggressive, proactive plays, especially when you're ahead. And he's already got 10 assists in this game. I mean, Keria is just everywhere. Nobody can move against him. They're all stunned. He's going to throw out, I believe that's one of the new Spirit Blossom emotes, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, Deft is 6-1-2. Yes, he's really fed. He's probably going to do the most damage in the game by far. But I think Keria is definitely the one who has been setting up all these plays from the lane into the later stages of the game. And I would love to hear who's shot calling here. But it's really just the setup from the Magical Journey. This is not something you normally would expect, right? And because they don't have much vision at all. As I'm trying to listen in, nobody actually says anything. I have exhaust. Get out, get out. He's like, oh crap. But I think Chovy did live in that play. And yeah, I mean, they have no vision, and that's kind of what you can do with Bard. You can look for weird angles where you know the enemy doesn't have vision. You can throw down magical journeys that are aggressive. We have a lot of Bards that are just extremely passive in the LCK, and they're like, well, I have heals, I have stuns, I have CC for my team, I have the ability to lock down the enemy team so that my team can engage, and then I have defensive magical journeys that can get my team out of bad positions. But going aggressive like this is a different kind of taste of the Bard, which I'm always happy with. So now DRX, they're hanging out here. They've got a really nice lead. They have, again, some really nice scaling on their comp. You can argue that the side of KT have a bit of scaling too. I mean, there's going to be some huge shields that come along, but the Olaf is not going to be happy. The Kennen, we saw in Game 2 how unless he's getting perfect engages, eventually the enemy team is going to build up enough resistances to make him a lot less useful. Oftentimes, the supports can just pick up exhaust as well if they're going up against a Kennen, and then every single time he engages, you always you always save your exhaust for that moment. And then the cannon is so much weaker because that's really the one moment where cannon has his power. It's not like the split pushing or the mobility are his big power. It's the ability to engage in wombo combo, stun up 4 people if you do find the right angle. And so, yes, he's fed. He's going to be doing a nice amount of damage. He's going for a very similar build that we did see in game number 2, except he doesn't have the stopwatch, which is kind of interesting. Generally, you want to have that one. As we're going to throw down Shirley down in the bottom lane, KT are going to try to take some of the focus away from the mid side, but they're trying to collapse now. Our DRX, I think we got to look towards Sohan here. Chovy, though, has to be careful. He can't just dive in. There's a lot of damage between the two of them. Meanwhile, in the jungle, we got a 3-on-3 going. That's going to be a missed Azir ultimate as Tusing going to have to flash away. We're zooming in over here on the left. Aiming has to flash over the wall. He's not going to get a lot of value as Sohan finally able to turn that one around down on the bottom side. They should win that 2v2 as Chovy is desperate, and maybe they will not, as no, the Q is going to come in. And finally, Sohan will be able to pick up that double kill. Unfortunately for him, though, the rest of his team lost the fight in their own jungle, as we'll have to take another look at that one and see exactly how that did happen. I know that Keria was part of it, so perhaps he was the main catalyst. But the Pillar is going to do 1 damage, and he'll be able to pick up the kill there for 3-0 and 9 Trundle. And there you have it. Another big win taken by DRX. You could see that KT, they were kind of drawn out of position. They were trying to split push. They were trying to play smoke and mirrors from behind. But we saw the right side. Let's take a look at the left side. Take a look at that massive tempered fade. I mean, he catches the Aphelios who gets stunned up by the binding. Aiming is doing 0 damage for like 5 seconds in the whole fight. Keep in mind that the tempered fate kept one person out of it, as maybe it was just the Olaf who Ragnaroked. I'm not sure if that's the right idea, as he might have been able to eat the binding for the Aphelios. But either way, just a really nice setup once again by Keria, who is just insane. He's playing insane on this Bard right now. He's 0012. That's his agent name. And again, KT are kind of reduced to smoke and mirrors. They don't even have the LeBlanc this time around, but they do have an ability to catch Doran, who's going to flash away. He's quite fast, but he's still going to be going down here. As okay, Tempered Fate going to come in. Keria trying to buy some time. Going to throw the heal in, but down he will go. But here's Death, and he's 8-1-2. Can they burst him down? They can, as actually the 80 carries will be traded. That is a massive amount of gold in the pockets of Aiming now. And Chovy's mid. Yeah, I don't know why he's just there alone by himself. He doesn't have TP. He's like, no, you know what, guys? I'm just going to take the turret. I don't know why we're fighting. I'm a pacifist. I like to take down buildings. I like to play PvE, guys. Can we not PvP? As now DRX are trying to force this 3v4. Subjugate is in, and Chovy is going to get the massive engage, but the exhaust takes away so much of his value. And why are DRX doing this? They did not have to force it. They're going to trade the 1-for-1. And again, they're giving chances for KT to come back in the game. They are just styling for no good reason. They could have, just zoned him away, allowed Chovy. But that's not the way it went. So we're going to break it down from the beginning. Doran here. If it was any other support, he probably would have gotten away. Well, Aiming died. Okay. Didn't get to see that one. Sorry we missed that one, guys. But it seemed like there was a lot of action there in the mid lane. Both mid laners are dead. I think that's from the fight earlier, though, because we really didn't spend too much time in the replay. So we'll just have to wait and see. It looks like a pillar just went down, and Aiming didn't have flash, and he just got blown up by the Ezreal. That would be my guess. But we're going to have to wait and see. Let's take a look at the replay here. Is it Keria again? Oh, it's Keria again. I should have known. Why did I even think it was anyone else? He actually missed the binding. I feel like I caster cursed him after it happened. Like, I'm from the future or something. I was somehow able to affect the past. By the way, if you guys like time travel, if you guys like sci-fi, go check out this show. It's called Great Show. Really, really cool. Let's get a little bit through these messages. It's really well written. Would highly recommend. And it's in German too. So we have to watch the subtitles in this speaker. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there. We're going to take a look here. Blinds it up. Says, no, we can't do it. After the hook, he's like, no, don't go. And he would be right. I mean, you're still behind. You don't want to force any fights right now up against super fed Def and Chovy. Although it's not really going to get much better. You just got to hope that aiming hits 6 items and he has this massive shield, and then so on gets a good engage. And there still is a chance. Speaking of engages, that hook is going to go wide. That is that's the downside of the Blitzcrank. Because if you miss that hook, then, well, you're just sitting there doing nothing. No shields, no utility, nothing like that. Doran is really shelling out the damage right now. There's no armor at all on the Karma. So even though he has a lot of shields, he did go for the supportive build for aiming. And so he's, it's not really going to be super tanky in this one. Chovy going to pick up the Cloud Drake. I thought that was Cloud Soul. Yeah, it was. Okay, just didn't update yet. So Cloud Soul taken here. That means that, take a look at some of these ultimates here. The speed isn't really that big of a deal. I suppose that the movement speed will be good against the Blitzcrank. But other than that, it's really not going to affect fights too much. Like, maybe a little bit against Kennen, but Kennen's so fast that it's probably not going to matter anyway. So, really just looking at, ultimate CDR, seeing what they can get out of that. And I suppose that there will be times where Ezreal could potentially, in an extended fight, get double True Shot Barrage. But a lot of the times in those fights, you're not really looking to, maximize True Shot Barrage uptime, if you will. Keria with the flash after the exhaust. Can they actually follow up on this? Look at that shield! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a shield. But the slow chip damage, the sustained damage out of this unbelievably fed Ezreal and the lethality stacking Jace is enough to stop them. That's the thing about the Karma shields, as a missed hook is going to go wide. The rest of his team was down the lane, so I don't think actually that would have amounted to too much. Might have actually baited his team more than anything else. But the Karma shield is up for a bit, and it's huge while it's up. But then the second it goes down, it's like, well, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for that cooldown to come back. You gotta wait for Mantra to come back. And it's, during that time, you can just poke them out. With your Ezreal, with your Jace. They're going to have such a hard time getting into this. Just look at that. It's not even hitting. Okay, the shields go up, and now they're down. And I think they're just going to go, okay, here we go. The burst onto that one. They get the Baron. Trundle will have to flash away, but that's going to be a huge Temper Fate once again onto 3 members. He lands the stun, and there is the poke damage coming in. The immediate exhaust goes down, but it doesn't matter. Keria is just lining him up and knocking him down like bowling pins. This Bard is insane. As there you have it, TPs are going to come in. We do have about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. They're going to look to take some of these inhibitors anyway. We'll see if they actually try to go for the end here. As we did have a lot of action, which certainly helped me out in terms of casting the solo cast. As play-by-play makes it much easier. As, yeah, they're just going to go for the win here. We'll see if they can pick it up. They throw down a Tempered Fate. They say, well, you can't get in here. And it doesn't really matter about those. No hooks are going to go down, and that's going to be it. GG. 30 minutes, 30 seconds. The second.